Hello, everyone. Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking about what to do. How do you pay your mortgage if you've been impacted financially by this coronavirus pandemic? And almost all of us have. There are some new laws out there. Congress has passed some help, something called the CARES Act, which we detailed in the first segment. And so there is help out there. But it is important that you know what you're getting into if you seek that help. And we have with us Brad Denton. He is the branch manager at PrimeLending, and he's helping to walk us through all of this. Let's go to Frank now on the phone here. Hello, Frank.
Oh, Brad, thanks for what you do and for coming on with OpenLine. I'm a little, I say I'm a little mad about what that lady that just called said. We the people didn't cause this problem. This is a different situation than we faced before. And I still have my job, but I'm going to laugh because of the virus. The government shut us down. So, yeah, we got to all stick together. We've got to work together, and we can't be blowing a lot of smoke about what else and scaring people about what might happen. We have bought a little time here, and I have not read the law. Now, I'm no expert, okay? But I know who to bank with. A very good bank, Tennessee Bank, or Tennessee-based, I should say.
Okay.
But we the people, and the news media included, sit down and take a deep breath and quit making this into something it's not. Tell the facts, period. Don't speculate. Don't jump ahead and say, well, this is going to happen tomorrow because of what so-and-so said. That's where we will lose if we go that direction. Keep it straight up. This is yes, as President Trump said, war on the virus. You and I didn't cause it. But don't make it into something it's not. Don't make it into politics. Let's do our job. Each and every individual do what we have to do and go forward. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That was Frank. And I appreciate that. And it sounded like he said he had been laid off. It's obviously no fault of his own. It's that the government has just shut almost everything down. His job will come back, likely, like so many others, when the economy comes back. The uncertainty now is, when will the economy come back? He's also saying he wants the media and everyone to take a deep breath, which I always think is a good idea. And that's kind of what this show's all about. There's no screaming on here. It's just an opportunity to get some information. We have a chance to talk one-on-one with Brad, a branch manager here at PrimeLending. You know, any question you have about your mortgage right now. And there are a lot of people that have some worry or some question. So Frank, thanks for your call. Let's go to Paul here. Hello, Paul.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I want to ask Brad, do some lenders allow the payments to be put on the back end of the notes or the mortgages? Is that even a possibility rather than front-ending them after the moratorium is lifted?
I like that question, Paul. I think I was trying to ask that question the whole first segment, and I don't think I asked it as well. But that question from Paul, what do you think?
Hey, Ben, thank you. And Paul, that's a great question. I appreciate you calling in. The most important thing I would tell you is contact your service provider and have that discussion with them. Currently, under the CARE Acts and as it is written, the answer is that is not an option right now. Forbearance is allowing you to defer your payment up to 6 months. But I would have a conversation with your individual service provider and get the details from them, because they're going to give you the best guidance on that, how that is handling, based on whether you can the forbearance guidelines under the CARES Act, or as you said, can I put the payment into my loan? So I do not want to give you a false answer based on what the information is provided to us now based on the CARES Act and the guidelines that's been handed down to current lenders now.
Are you getting a lot of calls right now, Brad? I mean, are people calling in with this question?
Ben, that's a great question. I'm getting calls on as it refers to PrimeLending service portfolios, but I also got a call from a gentleman who is with one of the big banks that asked me my opinion of what his current situation is. I encouraged him to have a call to that service provider, and he got back to me and told me the situation that he worked out with them, which was he was going to take the option of forbearance for 90 days. And at that point, he would decide whether he would ask for the additional 90 days or he would go ahead and make the payment at that time.
So those are the kind of decisions.
The big question.
Those are the kind of decisions people are making right now.
I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
But yeah, now you go ahead. But those are the kind of decisions people are making right now.
Yeah. Ben, I also get a lot of questions from people who may have this currently in process that are looking to close on home as it relates to my job situation. If I get laid off or furloughed, how does that impact my approval to close? How does that impact my loan approval process?
Well, yeah, and that's a whole nother part of this. For people that may have been about to close on a house, I mean, we were all just going along just fine, had no real thought that this was going to impact us in the way that it did. What is this doing to somebody that had a home scheduled to be closed on? They bought it when the world was a very different place, and now here closing comes April 1st or April 8th. How does this impact what has been happening? Are you seeing people back out of those kind of things, or are they going forward? What are you seeing?
So, Ben, again, another great question. I'm going to tell you my experience on a personal business as an originator. That yes, there have been some people who have opted out to close because they're concerned about their future and as it relates to their job. I'm also having people ask me questions that they're getting communicated from their current employer on what their job situation looks like, and does that make an impact to their approval. So I would tell everyone who's listening at this time, have a conversation with your loan officer, explain the situation to them, let them look at the guidelines that it pertains to the type of loan that you're having, whether it's a Fannie Mae loan or FHA. And they will also check with their underwriting guidelines or their specific investor guidelines as it relates to your particular situation. But listen, again, loan originators like myself, we're here to help people get in homes. The last thing we're looking for is a reason to say no. We want to work with people to help them find a way to get in their homes. On a side note, I would tell people, just like on a different note to Frank, is we're blessed to be in Tennessee. Tennessee, before the situation we're currently in from COVID-19, has one of the strongest economies in the country. We will probably have the largest economy outside of Texas just due to size. And we are very blessed to be in a very great state that the economy within the state is booming and doing quite well. So as I try to tell everybody, I hope this is a very short and limited situation as it impacts our ability to buy homes and thrive in our state. But I have all the confidence in the state leadership that we'll get out of this quickly.
How is this? Were you around in 2008? And how difficult was 2008? How difficult was it? And how concerned are you that this could lead us into another hole like that? Are you concerned we may be headed into something just as bad as we saw in 2008?
Well, there's a different caveat to that. 2008 was more of an issue of evaluation. So you might have owned a home that was worth $150,000 and you had a $180,000 balance you mortgage. So it was about an evaluation process where real estates were not supporting the value of the home. Again, I'm going to go back and say I was blessed to be in Tennessee because we are never going to be a California and we're never going to be an East Coast. Will we have some variations in valuation? 100%. And that's where lenders were working with people to try to restructure their mortgage in order to do things to help providers. Right now, you're talking about an income issue based on people being shut down and not allowed to go to work. So it's a different type of animal that we're dealing with. So the idea now is, hey, can we push people's for a better word, forego their payments for months until we can get through this, where the economy and our ability to go back to work and make a living returns. The 2008 to 2012 situation was more about people owing more on their property than what the value was worth.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's go to Ella. Ella there. Hello, Ella?
Yes.
What's on your mind? Go ahead.
First of all, I just want to say that you all need to be careful what you're saying and the information that you're putting out there, because it's a lot of people out there that's very afraid with Goins and the Corvette, the coronavirus, and they're afraid of becoming sick. They're afraid of what tomorrow's going to bring. And when you tell someone that, okay, please, all the money that you have right now, let's pay your mortgage. And then now they don't have money for their children. They don't have things that they need in their homes. And it's not true, because I just recently reached out to my mortgage company. And my mortgage company said that they are working with everyone that they can. They said I didn't have to pay for 3 months. That 3 months will go to the back end of my mortgage. So it's like people need to go and talk with their own people. You know, you don't just say that, okay, this is what's going to happen and you're going to have to pay this whole big sum. It's not like that. Because of what's going on in our country, almost everybody is helping everyone. You know, I paid for my cars. I don't have a car payment, but I know a lot of people who do, and they have reached out to those people and they've told them, we waive this month, we'll waive next month. So it's just, you have to understand that it's people out here frightened. They're scared. So please be very mindful of what you say and how you're saying it, because they're afraid. And everybody is trying to help everyone. That's why you need to reach out. Everybody has people. Reach out to your own people of who you owe. See what they're doing. Because every mortgage company is not making you pay a big sum.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
And that's really, really good. And that is very important to hear. And I think that's a little bit of what Brad was saying. Now, you know, talk to your individual lender. It sounds like you have a very good situation. It sounds like the law would allow the lender to collect everything right after 3 months or 6 months. It sounds like your lender, Ella, has decided to put it on the back end. And I'm sure Brad would say, I hope you have that in writing. But if that is the case, that is great. And you will only find out what your lender will do for you by calling your lender and talking to your lender. And once you do that, it's not just a conversation over the phone. Get it in writing. And I think you're right. People do want to pull together right now. People do want to work with each other. People do want to help. People are aware that this is unprecedented. What we're going through is unlike anything that we've ever seen. It's unlike the 2008 recession in the sense that happened over a period of time. The economy was fine, and now it's just stopped. This is unprecedented. And so if ever people are going to work with you, it's going to be now. And I'm glad that is the situation that you found when you called your lender. Brad, what do you think about what she said?
Ben, I would agree with Ella. The 100% is, again, the first thing that I like about it is she called her lender and had a conversation as it relates to her situation. Because, again, I'm going to tell everybody, you need to call your service provider, that is the mortgage company you make your payments to, and have that conversation. Because what I am explaining to people is, although the CARE Act has given a guideline to lenders, each lender will interpret that guideline to how it relates to your situation and what their guidelines are and for helping people. I have always said, lenders do not want your houses. They want to help people make their mortgage payments. as a way to keep families and homes. So Ella, thanks for bringing that to our attention. The number one thing I would take away from that is have that conversation with your individual service provider to find out what your options are as it applies to your particular situation. Good advice.
Yeah, and it sounds like Ella got a good situation there. So I'm really glad, and it sounds like you can do that. So call and be persistent and be patient and get to the bottom of what your lender is willing to do to work with you, because I think now they are aware they need to work with people. All right, let's take a break. If you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.